Hey, welcome to BenUp, where I use my indigenous Igorot roots, adopted American roots, and Catholic roots to navigate through life's messy waters.
All right, I am in Grand Isle, Louisiana, South Louisiana on the coast, Gulf Coast, and we're gonna do some fishing today. Oh, it's a beautiful weather. It's beautiful weather out here. Beautiful, beautiful. Did I ever tell you how much I love Louisiana? Oh, shit. All right, I'm gonna show you guys how to catch leftist fish out there. And this is easy because, you know, leftists, they go by feelings and emotion. They're kind of like fish. They don't know any better. They see a bait, they go, oh, I'm gonna get it. You know, they don't want to think about whether or not that bait is real or not. They don't want to do any research. They don't want to use no reasoning. They're just gonna go by their passion and they're gonna attack that bait. That's why we use leftist bait. All right, so let's take a look at some of these baits we're gonna use today. We're not gonna use everything. I'm just gonna pull out basically the baits that are what the leftist fish are hitting these days. Unfortunately, these are the baits that our children, our loved ones, just people we care about. These are the baits that they're falling for, that they're getting hooked on. So let's look at some of these a little bit closer, and let's start with some of the more popular ones. All right, here's a set of baits we're going to be throwing. There's a few more in the box, but I'll pull out some of the ones that are obvious. As you can see, they're pretty much white and black color. And this is what is called a racist bait. All right, a racist bait. Here's one. I call this one a BLM one. This is another one. But you notice how the colors, there's not a whole lot of colors there, and that's intentionally done because the leftists want to change this country into. They want to remove the color blindness. I mentioned in the previous video that I was raised colorblind. All right, so the color of the skin was not the determining factor of what makes a person good or bad. And these baits are working really good these days because that's the fish out there, the leftist fish out there. They're being fed a false narrative that America is the most racist country in the world, and man, that is just such a lie. That is such a lie. These are the baits that are largely behind all these riotings, all the mayhem we're seeing today. This false narrative again that there are white people out there hunting down black people. This is the most racist country, and this is what the leftists are using to exploit people. Unfortunately, exploit everybody, but especially black Americans for political gains and their leftist agenda. All right, now these baits, oh man, they are just so effective these days. You throw them out there, it's a giveaway. You know what these baits are, right? They got masks on. This is what I call the COVID-19 pandemic baits. There's more in there, but these are some of those that we're going to throw out. Boy, I'm just tired of hearing so much of the leftist agenda about this COVID-19 and how this pandemic is being used to exploit people. It's being used for political gain. The science is being virtually almost ignored in this. One day they say to do this, one day they say to do that. If people can just turn off all the leftist news that they're hearing, the fake news, stop listening to the CNNs and all these people out there who are trying to quiet doctors out there. There's no reason why many doctors out there who are talking about a way to deal with this pandemic without the vaccine. There's no reason why they need to shut these doctors down. But if people only would see these baits for what they are, it's more than just political gain. A smart fish will see this and do their research, and instead of biting into this, they'll realize the end game of all this COVID-19 pandemic fear mongering, because these are fear mongering baits. They want us to stay in fear. They want us to stay in fear just long enough so they can get their main guy in the political office, just so they can get votes. Ultimately, if people can just do the research and realize that these baits are being used, the end game of these baits really comes down to something called a reset. The big reset that's coming up, that's happening in Davos, that will happen in Davos. I'm going to put a link below. Everybody, everybody, Catholic, non-Catholics, need to check out what Michael Matt has to say about the Great Reset, because truly, you have to get beyond all this stuff and realize that these baits that people are using, these COVID-19 pandemic fear-mongering baits, which are so effective against the leftist fish to getting all these supporters, they need to realize the end game of this is not what you're seeing on the news. It is something called the Great Reset. They want to reset our entire our world. They want to form their own utopia. They want to reset things. Right. So these sets of baits, there's more in there, but here are two. I call these the green exploitation. Can you tell these are green, right? And the reason why is because I associate these with things like the Green Deal and all this commotion about the environment and climate change and everything else. Don't just fall for the leftist agenda and all the news out there and think that everything that they talk about, what you hear today by fake news, is truth. We need to start learning more about that. Great place to start would be Prager University, Dennis Prager. Many scientists aren't on board with all of this hysteria about the environment, and yet the leftists are using that again as a big bait to attract people to get more votes, which ultimately will lead to, and back again to that big reset. By the way, the big reset includes abortion, includes population control. It's a very sad thing that's happening these days. I call these the Catholic Francis baits. It kind of has the color of the Vatican flag. Now I say that, and I need to make myself perfectly clear. I do acknowledge Pope Francis as our Pope. I pray for him every day. But for him to support and align himself with organizations like the UN, George Soros, Jeffrey Sachs, it's a shame that they align themselves with these people, these organizations, and support abortion. These organizations are about population control, about abortion. And many Catholics, when they see this bait, man, they bite hard for these baits. Just look at these ads that Mr. Fake Catholic presidential nominee JB is putting out there, where he's showing himself with Pope Francis and using his Catholic faith, exploiting his Catholic faith. This guy should have been, if we had brave and good bishops in America, should have been excommunicated years ago for the grave sins that he supports and promotes. Although this bait looks Catholic, it goes against Catholic teaching. We cannot fall for this bait. We cannot. Well, now I have to talk about these because we're going to be using this a lot. These are actually not baits in the sense that they will hook the fish, but they are a big effective way of attracting the fish. These are called popping corks, and basically the noise that these make are designed to attract fish, to trick the fish into hearing what they think are other fish feeding on shrimp, on croakers, on pinfish, and some kind of other bait out there. So when they hear this noise, they go in the area, and 2 feet underneath there is probably dangling one of the baits I showed you, and they're very effective. All these noise-making popping corks, these are like representative of, let's say, this one is called the CNN popping cork. This one's the MSNBC popping cork. This one is the New York Times popping cork. This one are the overwhelming majority of college professors out there in these universities. These are so many others. These could be even many of the Catholic priests and bishops in America and throughout the world. All of these make that kind of noise to attract people to false lies, false agendas. So let's put all these baits on our lines, throw these into the water, and let's see what kind of leftist supporters we can catch out there.
We're going to use artificials to catch leftist fish like these speckled trout. Now these trout are like people, you know. All these people who fall for the leftist agenda, fake news and all that. So this bait here, this is going to be the racist bait. Okay, so you throw the racist bait out there, and let's see how many. If you throw it out there, and guess what? Fish are like people. They're going to fall for it every time. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So we got the racist bait out there. Throw them out in the population of general people, and then the people are going to be watching, and when they encounter this news, they're going to get hooked. They're going to get hooked like a fish. They're going to get hooked, and that's why it's so easy for people like CNN. There we go! There we go! There we go! they bit it. Maybe this one used a little bit of reasoning and said, hey, I'm gonna walk away from these fake lies and false truth. But that one behind you, Captain J guy, was dumb enough. He said, no, I'm gonna fall for it. All right, now I know we were just having a little fun there. We're using all sorts of leftist baits. Just having a little fun, but in all seriousness, we can't be like them fish and fall for everything that we hear and just believe everything without using our reason, enlighten that with our faith, and come to common sense and realize all the stuff that we're seeing today and hearing today, man, fake news, what do you want to call it? But don't be like them fish and just rely on what everybody else is doing. If all these TV stations are throwing out the same baits I was throwing out, man, you gotta be smarter than them fish and see, whoa, that ain't a real fish bait, that ain't a real mullet, that ain't a real shad, that ain't a real shrimp, that ain't a real croaker, and realize it ain't real. Because we know what's real and we know what the truth is. So I know we had a little fun. I hope you enjoyed that. When you get a chance, come to Grand Isle. Have a blast like I did with my nephew here, Jonathan. And Captain J back there. Grand Isle, Louisiana. There's nothing like it. Yeah!
Hey, this is Rex. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, hit the like button, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell button too so you get notified on future episodes. So until next time, God bless you.